Hello, everyone, and welcome. We are live. We are going live today in Facebook page and my Facebook group, and also for the very first time, we are going live in YouTube. I am super excited to be hosting this interactive Facebook Live interview for you today. I have invited an amazing wedding supplier, Jade Calvert from Crystal Bowls Bridal Boutique. Jade has got so much experience with bridal dresses, and she has been working with me for many, many years. She has supported me with fantastic wedding fashion shows. We've had wonderful brides that have referred to Jade, and I have full confidence, and I'm delighted to have her with us today. Jade is super excited. She's got so many interesting tips and hints for brides planning for their wedding dress shopping. Obviously, things are a little bit different, so I'm sure Jade will explain a little bit about what's happening just now as well. But we will cover everything. We see so many of you guys joining already. Brilliant. I'm super excited to have you with us. We've got Donna. Hello, Donna. Lovely to see you. Hi, guys. We've got Donna and Mark. I'm looking after their wedding at the start of next year. Great for you guys to join us. Thank you again. And if you've got any questions about bridal dresses, fire them across. Jade is ready to be grilled with many interesting and fantastic questions there. And we've got James Henderson and DJ Edinburgh joining us today as well. Thank you very much, Jim, for joining us. Brilliant to have you as well. As we're going through this live interview, we're using a streaming software called StreamYard, which means that I can actually stream this interview directly into my Facebook page, The Wedding Guru Oscar, and also my group, the Interactive Facebook Lives with The Wedding Guru Oscar, as well. And obviously, for the very first time, we are also going live in YouTube, which I'm super excited about, and hopefully more people to join us on YouTube today as well. So one of the housekeeping things I would want to mention before we get started, see, you guys are brilliant already doing it as well. Because we're using this streaming software, if you wanted to share your name and before any comments or questions you might have today for us, make sure that you follow the little link above the screen just now. It gives permission for StreamYard to share your name from Facebook. And if you decided that's not something you would want to do, absolutely no problem at all. Please make sure that you mention your name before any comments or questions so we can address you directly as well. So just a couple of things here about that as well. The other thing that I wanted to say is this is a live streaming, so we are highly encouraging engagement, comments, and questions throughout our live video today as well. The more questions, the more comments we've got from you, the more engaging and interactive we can make it for you, and then more informative for you as well, especially if you're wedding planning and a lot of you can't come out and see suppliers or venues. This is a fantastic alternative opportunity for you to get those questions answered and speak to experts in the industry that I have worked with for many, many years, and I have full confidence in, for instance, Jade we've got with us today as well. If you are, however, joining us on repeat, make sure you comment #repeat in the comment box below. After we have finished the live session today, Jade and I will be able to go back to the videos because they will remain on my page and they will remain on my group and also in YouTube as well. So if you comment #repeat, we will be able to come back to any questions you might have after the session is finished. So just a couple of housekeeping things before we get started. And for those of you that are still joining us right now, like I said, please fire across as many questions. This is a one-off opportunity for you to ask questions of Jade, and she's super excited to be sharing her advice and her knowledge and wisdom about wedding dress shopping with us today as well. Hello, Dougie. Good to see you. Thank you very much for joining us as well. Brilliant, guys. So I'm not going to bore you anymore about the housekeeping rules. We will get started right away with our interviews. So just to give you a bit of an overview of what's happening today, we will begin with a little introduction. So I'll do an introduction about myself. I'll do an introduction about Jade as well. Then we will have the official interview. So I've asked Jade to prepare a couple of questions for us already, but she will be more than happy to answer any of your live questions as well. We've got a good turnout today as well, so I'm super excited to see so many of you joining us as well. Any questions, fire them across as well. And finally, at the end of the session, we will have an open Q&A. So if you wanted to leave any questions right to the end, after you've seen full answers to my pre-organized questions for Jade, you can do so at the end. We will have 6 official questions, and then we will follow that with an open Q&A at the end as well. But highly encourage, if something slips into your mind and you want to ask the question, pop the question in the comment box below, and we will stop between questions and make sure that we cover all the questions as well. If we're super busy, guys, and to see many of you already with us today, and we don't get a chance to answer all the questions, we will go back in the comment boxes after the sessions have finished, and we will be able to answer all the questions for you as well. So don't worry, everything will be absolutely covered as well. And before we get started, a little bit of an introduction about myself and why we're here today. Obviously, things are a little bit different than what they were last year. So I've decided to put this idea together of interactive Facebook Live interviews with my industry experts who have worked with for many, many years. I started the Wedding Guru Oscar just back in December of last year, just before COVID started. But it's been a fantastic journey, and I've met so many wonderful couples and other industry experts as well. But before I started the Wedding Guru Oscar, I have actually been involved with the wedding industry for over 10 years. I have initially started with a city centre hotel venue in Edinburgh, where I was looking after couples on the day of their wedding. I was responsible for the operational running, logistical planning of weddings, staffing, orders, scheduling, and looking after the couple from the moment of arrival, from bridal preparation all the way to the time they headed to their beds as well. Acting master of ceremonies, everything in between that as well. So I've got a really good base of understanding of what's involved in wedding planning from the back of house and operational logistical planning of that as well. After 4.5 years, I have been given my first wedding planning job. At the time, I was looking after 75 weddings across 4 city venues in Edinburgh. And a year later, I was given my first managerial opportunity to look after 3 luxury city centre venues. At that time, I looked after over 130 weddings across these 3 venues. I had the best time actually working for that group, and it was probably the highlight of my career. During that time, I have been very honoured to have been recommended by wedding couples for Bows Awards and Scottish Hotel Awards as well, and I was recognised with them on 4 occasions. And also during that time, I have had a brilliant time contributing towards publications with the biggest wedding blog, Love My Dress, and the biggest Scottish, I'm thinking of the Scottish aspect of wedding planning, the biggest Jewish wedding blog, the Smashing the Glass blog, and also 2 of the biggest publications in Scotland at the time, Scottish Wedding Directory and Tie the Knot Scotland as well, over the years contributing to luxury Scottish weddings and also My Scotland Wedding as well. And if you're looking for inspiration, I highly recommend for you guys all to check it out as well. There's plenty of inspiration there, but obviously we will be talking about wedding dress shopping today, and Jade has prepared so many interesting and wonderful facts, tricks, and advice for you as well. So I'm not going to bore you anymore about myself. I would like to introduce our guest speaker today. We've got Jade Calvert from Crystal Bowes Bridal Boutique. Hello, Jade. Lovely to see you. I'm just going to pop you up on the screen. Lovely to have you with us today. Super excited. Jade is also super excited for today's session. She's got so much organised for you as well. But firstly, before we get started, Jade, could you tell us a little bit more about yourself, about Crystal Bowes, and just introduce your brand, please?
Yeah, so I'm Jade, and I'm the co-owner of Crystal Bowes Bridal Boutique alongside my mum, Diane. I'm 35, married, and I've got 2 young children, and I've always had a passion for everything wedding ever since planning my own wedding. So after that, I decided to open Crystal Bowes Bridal Boutique with my mum, and it was an absolute dream come true.
That's absolutely perfect. And I can tell, having worked with Jade, her mum, and with Mike, Jade's husband as well, supporting always the team at your shop and looking after the couples, that there's so much passion and enthusiasm in what you guys do. So it's great to see that in what you guys do as well. So, guys, like I said at the start of our session today, we highly encourage questions. Jade is only with us for this one-off interview opportunity. She would love to share her advice with you as well. So, if there's any questions or any comments you would like to make with us today, pop them in the comment box below, and we will try to answer as many of them as possible. If you are joining us on repeat, make sure you comment in the comment box hashtag repeat, and that way Jade and I can come back to any questions after the sessions have finished, as they will remain on my page and in the group as well. Perfect. I'm not seeing any more questions. We're seeing more people getting engaged and people referring other people to the session today, which is absolutely fantastic. So we're just going to move on to question number 2, Jade. And that question is, could you tell us what makes your role and your business unique and why you think so?
Yeah, so based on my own wedding experiences shopping for my own bridal gown, I had some amazing experiences and I had some terrible experiences. So when we decided to start Crystal Bows alongside my mum, our main focus and core value was to provide exceptional customer service where everyone is treated equally, regardless of size, regardless of budget. So we offer one-to-one appointments. So when you come in, the boutique is exclusively yours. We're all about the experience. So we offer kind of cakes, glasses of bubbles, sweets and everything for your bridal party to enjoy. And all our gowns in store are exclusive to us. So it's lovely to know that you're going to come in, you're not going to find it anywhere else in Edinburgh. And we can customize gowns, we can tweak them and make it kind of a special for you.
Amazing. That's absolutely brilliant. And you can see that in feedback. Actually, guys, I'm just going to bring it up on the screen a little bit bigger. Throughout the feedback that Jade is getting, and you can check it out on Facebook as well. One of the things that couples always praise you guys about is the fact that it's such a personal service. It's about the couple. You spend a lot of time and you give quite a lot of freedom to brides to try on the dresses and get the right feel for themselves, because you will know yourself that there's an idea always in your head, there's a vision, but the reality can be very much different. So given that space and the time to brides is definitely very important. Jade, we've actually got first of our questions today. I'm just going to pop it up on the screen. So Caitlin is asking, how many bridesmaids is too many?
More than one? Do you know what? I think it's all about choice. So if you want a massive bridal party, that's fine, but if you do have lots of bridesmaids, just stay true to yourself and try not let your bridesmaids sway towards you picking a gown that suits them instead of suiting a gown that fits you. So I think you can have as many as you want, but just make sure they don't take the focus off what you really want in your bridal gown.
I think that's a very good advice, because I've seen that so many times speaking to couples, to brides, and even same-sex couples as well. Everyone is entitled to their opinion, but ultimately it needs to feel right for you. And I think many of us would agree to what you've actually said, guys. If you agree with what Jade has just mentioned in her answer to Caitlin's question, give us a little why in the comments below. We would love to hear from you about that as well. We've got another question for you, Jade, from Donna. Donna is asking, what would you recommend for an undergarment for a strapless dress? I'm desperate to find something that will stay up and give me a bit of a boost, which excludes regular strapless bras. It doesn't need to be a low back or anything, just strapless. As an expert, what suggestions do you have?
I would say ditch the bra. You don't need one. If you've got a fantastic seamstress, she can actually add cups into the dress for you. So it's not going to be uncomfortable. It's going to give you a fabulous shape and it will work wonders. So ditch the bra and get cups sewn into your gown.
Brilliant advice, fantastic, absolutely brilliant. The questions keep on coming in, so we're just going to carry on with those questions from the listeners today. And we've got Dougie asking the question here: what do you recommend to brides who say they are having a ceilidh on the big day, hooks, loops, etc.? I've been invited along to some dress fitting where the bridal party wanted to make sure that they could dance and didn't want to change out of her dress. What can I be saying to brides that will be helpful to them as a backup? I bring bulldog clips along. This goes for bridesmaids as well.
So I would say, whether you're having a ceilidh or not, it doesn't matter whether you've got a massive princess gown or you've got a slim fitting gown. I would recommend you get a bustle put into your dress, which basically goes up and underneath to pull the train underneath the gown. And obviously let your seamstress know that you are having a ceilidh, you are going to be going wild, you are going to be dancing, and they can just make it that extra bit secure, so they can add loops and they can add buttons, and it should be absolutely fine.
Absolutely, and you just said so they don't trip over their dresses. Absolutely. I like you said, there's so many hoops and hooks. I remember being at a friend's wedding, and it was so funny because the dress was perfect and it had all that, but I don't think she was shown before the wedding how to tie all up. So obviously, with my experience fluffing up the dresses most of my time at the hotels and venues, I went up and tidied it up about. But it makes a difference, and it is a very important question, Dougie. Thank you very much for asking. Perfect. Thank you very much. Fantastic. All right, guys. We are moving on with our questions. It's great to see your engagement and questions. Fantastic questions so far. Very definitely on point and important to consider as well. Like I said, if there's any questions you've got for us, pop them in the comment box below. And the more questions we've got, the more informative and engaging we can make it for you as well. And this is a one-off opportunity to ask all these questions of our expert Jade from Crystal Bows today. We've not got any more official, guest questions, so we're just going to move on to the next question for you, Jade. Up on the screen, we've got a question about anything you've been most proud in your career about, Jade. Could you tell us a little bit more about a time or a situation where you've been really proud of your career so far?
So I think starting Crystal Bows with zero bridal experience was a huge achievement in itself. Obviously, since the stores opened, we've won a number of awards, which includes being in the top 50 wedding dress shops in the UK. And, awards are fine and, they're fantastic to get, but achievements for us is situations like kind of 2 weeks ago where we had Holly, who was terminally ill, absolutely desperate to find her perfect wedding dress. And obviously, we were able to provide her with 4 gowns to pick from. She got married. That is a huge, huge thing that we're proud of. So, that completely takes over all the awards, because we would much rather do something that obviously means something like we did for her.
Definitely, and it was so meaningful, and you could see how comfortable she was in the dress, because it was about the comfort of the dress for her, especially. I mean, she had this idea of the princess dress to begin with, but then obviously with her illness progressing, she knew very quickly that she wanted to be comfortable and have that perfect look still within that dress. And I've seen her obviously on the day. I supported the wedding with on the day coordination, and I have recommended Jade Crystal Bows to get in touch with as well. And it was so great when I was speaking to her that she felt just perfect, and it's such an important thing. And we only had 10 days to organize that wedding, which is another achievement I think that should be put to all the suppliers, including yourself, for planning that wedding as well. That was a huge thing, brilliant to do. Thank you very much, Dougie. That was absolutely fantastic as well. Brilliant, guys. Any other questions we've got from you? We've still got a few of the official questions to get through today. But like I said at the start of the video, if you want to ask any questions, pop them in the comment box below. Jay would love to share as much of our advice and experience today as well. And hopefully we can answer all the questions as we're going through the live session. These videos will be available within my group and my page, The Wedding Guru Oscar, and also for the very first time today, we are going live on YouTube as well, and hopefully many more of you can join us there as well. Again, if you are joining us on repeat, make sure you comment #repeat in the comment box below, and that way Jade and I will be able to come back any questions after the sessions have finished as well. All right, Jade, time for the next question for you. Get yourself organized, because I'm about to ask you about first-hand advice. We know that you're married, and what first-hand advice would you like to give couples based on your own wedding planning experience?
So I would just say, don't rush into anything. Take your time and completely enjoy the experience. I also think take advantage of menu tastings, cake tastings, wine tastings, and just stay true to yourself as a couple. You can get so carried away with other people's ideas and thoughts and feelings, but stay true to yourself, and remember the wedding you wanted to start with at the beginning, and just do not lose sight of that.
Definitely. I think it's so important, because as we know, with so many weddings, there's bridesmaids, there's best man, there's the parents, everyone is involved, and everyone wants to help and get involved with it as well. And it's so easy to kind of lose track of that. And thankfully, it didn't happen to me and George when we were getting married 2 years ago. We had quite a lot of freedom to plan our own wedding. But I've seen couples feeling a little bit that things maybe weren't quite as they had hoped for, because there was other people kind of getting involved and stuff like that. And it is important to accommodate for everyone, but it's also important about remembering that you want to have the best day and you want to remember it for the right reasons, and keeping that in your consciousness as you're planning the wedding. So definitely keeping that at the back of your mind and reminding yourself of that as well. Wonderful, guys. Any more questions? We are progressing with our interview. I've got a few more questions to get through with Jade today as well, but we've organised this session a one-time, one-off opportunity for this interview with my fantastic expert today, that she would love to share her advice with you. So if there's anything at all, she can answer any questions for you. Pop them in the comment box below, and we will be obviously having these videos available after the sessions have finished, so you can always come back with more questions and we will be able to follow up on them as well. Okay, no more questions this far, so we're just going to move on to the next thing just now, and we have got the question number 5, which is: what surprises you about your business or about your role in Crystal Bows, Jade?
I think probably 99% of the time, a girl will come in with their iPad or a photograph or a vision of exactly how they want to look on their wedding day. However, 99.9% of the time, they will never, ever leave with that gown. So it's not that we change their mind or anything like that. It's just as they start trying gowns on, they like different things. They're looking at these gowns on models who are like size 2, which in reality is not very realistic. So yeah, it surprises me that kind of every time they come in with an idea and they never ever go out with that dress. Also, I think with bridal too, sometimes it can be the pure emotion of that girl finding a dress. You'll have the mum crying, you'll have the bridesmaids crying. So, it sometimes can be super emotional, and it can even get you emotional too, because you've made someone's day and you've found them that dress that obviously means that much to them.
Absolutely, I think this is brilliant, and again, a really good point you've made there about the feel of the dress, because there, like I said at the start of the session today, there is an expectation. There's a certain vision that a lot of brides have when they're going dress shopping, but actually when they put the dress on, they feel the fabric, they feel how it feels around them and how it fits around them as well. Things change very quickly, so yeah, definitely something that that you could see surprising you definitely as well. Okay, we've got a question from Caitlin. Caitlin is asking, I've seen a gorgeous dress from Vera Wang, but it's black collar. Would that be a complete no for a wedding gown?
No, I don't think that is. I think everyone is completely different. So if you want a black gown or a pink gown or a floral gown, I think anything can work. And if that's you, stay true to yourself and go for the black dress.
That is absolutely fantastic. Perfect. Caitlin has actually sent us another question, so I'm just going to go ahead and ask that question of you, Jade, as well. What do you think of having two dresses, a daytime and a nighttime dress?
So I've seen this a lot recently, actually. Someone in a day gown or a night gown. I actually know someone who had 3 wedding gowns. But I genuinely think if you have the perfect gown and you're absolutely in love with that gown, you would never want to take it off for nighttime. So with my wedding dress, I never wanted to take it off. So the thought of taking it off and changing into another dress was just no. I think if you find the perfect gown, I think one's enough. And people worry that they're going to get too hot or they can't dance. You don't even think about that on your wedding day. So I'd say if you want to, go for it. But if you have that much of a special dress, you might not want to take it off and change.
Absolutely. I think we both know the bride that had the 3 dresses, because I have attended the wedding and they were absolutely outstanding. There was a reason why there was dress changes, because there was cultural elements to the wedding as well, which was beautiful when the bride actually changed into that dress. It was so impressive. But you're right. It just needs to feel right for the bride, because if you find that perfect dress, fantastic. If you find those 2 perfect dresses and you feel like there might be a little bit of a difference between day and nighttime, then why not? I have actually seen brides having the more kind of cathedral style dresses for their ceremonies, maybe even for the meal, but actually having something a little bit lighter and less what's the word I'm looking for? Less busy for the nighttime and feeling more comfortable about dancing. I'm not sure if that's true. Obviously, I don't wear dresses, so I can't really give advice on that one. But just something that I've seen before.
Yeah, some people do, but I think you're not even going to think about it being uncomfy or anything because you're too busy enjoying your day.
Absolutely perfect. Lovely. We've got another question for you, Jade. Julia is asking, what is the perfect wedding dress material for a beach wedding?
Everyone would probably say chiffon, but I think chiffon is very bridesmaidy. So I would either go for a satin or like a crepe type fabric for a beach wedding. But if you want the princess dress for the beach, I'd still say go for it.
Perfect. And would you say that's because of how it interacts with the heat, or does it breathe a little bit better as a material?
People, like if you're going somewhere really, really hot, like you are going to filter in, am I going to be too hot in my dress? So something kind of light, floaty, a wee bit movement, it's going to travel well. So it just might be more suitable for the beach.
Fantastic. That's a brilliant advice as well. Dougie's mentioned flowing. I'm not sure what that was in relation to. I'm assuming it was one of the questions we were discussing before as well. If there was another question from you, Dougie, fire that across. We will answer all the questions for you guys as well. Just repeating myself a little bit, but just wanted to make sure, guys, that if you've got any questions, this is a one-off opportunity for you to ask the questions of Jade, who has had the bridal shop for many, many years now. I have actually worked with Jade now since 2013 when I was still with Apex Hotels at the time. So I know that she's got buckets of experience, and any bride I have sent to Jade have walked away with a dress that they absolutely adored. And like you said, you've got that exclusive element for dresses that are only in your shop. So it just gives them, again, that bit of comfort that they've got something very special and just for them as well. Fantastic, guys. Good, brilliant. Dougie says, in relation to the words you were looking for. Perfect. Yeah, I remember that. I got stuck with a question there. Fantastic. Thank you very much, Dougie. You're keeping me on track. Fantastic. Brilliant. Okie dokie. No more questions this far, so we're just going to move on to our very, very final question before our open Q&A. So, guys, if you've got any more questions for us, there will be an open Q&A after this final question from me. So, Jade, can you tell us one piece of advice you believe all newly engaged couples should be aware of?
Yeah, so I think you need to stay within your means and stick to a budget. So I think weddings are wonderful, and regardless of whether you've got a couple of £1,000 or £30,000, you can still have an absolutely amazing day. But I do think it's not worth getting in debt for. So stick to a budget. If there's certain things you want, just juggle things around or save a wee bit harder. And most importantly, just enjoy your wedding day. It goes far, far too quick.
Absolutely. And I have actually seen this so often. There's actually a statistical proof that wedding budgets go up by about 30% within the last 3 months before the wedding. And obviously, there might be reasons why things change. I've worked with couples who maybe got a Christmas bonus from work or something like that, and they wanted to treat their guests to more fizz or another thing, and that's absolutely fine. But being realistic with your budget is definitely important, and it doesn't give you that disappointment at the end where you can't maybe have something. So it just makes things a little bit easier. We've got more questions floating in, Jade. So before we go to open Q&As, I'm just going to fire them across. We've got Julia asking, what was your wedding dress style for your wedding? And if you were to do it all over again, would your style change?
Yeah, so my wedding dress style was full-on princess, sparkle, lots of tulle. And just ever since I was a little girl, that was going to be my wedding dress style. So I never ever changed. However, I'm coming up to 10 years married in 2022. So I would like to renew my vows, and my dress will be completely different.
Brilliant, fantastic, good to know. We've got more questions coming in as well. We've got Katie asking, who's your favourite designer at the moment, Jude?
I don't know if I have a favourite designer, but I love designers who I can custom tweak a gown. So we've got a designer in our shop called Phoenix Gowns, and they basically have a policy where they never ever say no to the bride. So whatever the bride wants, they can have. If they want a pink gown or a black gown or any type of gown, they can have it. I love the luxury of being able to tweak and change things and make that dress more bespoke for that bride.
Absolutely, I think that's important. The personalization of anything and to do with weddings these days is important. And I didn't even know of their policy like that. So it's great to know that you've got suppliers you work with like that as well. Fantastic, guys. We've got another question before we go into open Q&As. I've got a video actually to show you as we're getting ready for the open Q&As, but there's another question we've got from Caitlin who's asking, how many people do you recommend to bring to an appointment? And obviously that might be different now to what it was pre-COVID, but I suppose what's your advice on that?
Obviously, before COVID, we would recommend kind of bringing a maximum of 3 guests. Now, we know loads of people have massive bridal entourages. So, that's fine and we will accommodate you. However, we do find that when you bring such a large group of people, your bridal party are sitting there having in their head what they would like to see you wear, instead of thinking about what you really, really want to wear. So we have seen really large groups come in with the bride. It's a bit overwhelming. She's maybe a bit upset because she's not getting the feedback that she wants in her dress that she absolutely loves. And we'll end up finding that she comes back maybe 2 or 3 weeks later with her mum or her best friend, and it's a completely different experience. So, she's able to find her dress, she's able to relax, and obviously, again, stay true to herself instead of trying to keep her entourage happy. Obviously, with COVID now, we have to limit it to 2 guests per bride. Hopefully that will change soon, but at the moment it's just 2 because of the layout of the store and to obviously keep a safe distance.
Absolutely perfect. And it's good to see that you've got the new measures in for COVID, and hopefully that will relax a little bit as things progress as well. But it's interesting what you've said, that the number of entourage, as you've called them, can really affect your wedding dress shopping experience. And maybe, do you know, it's interesting because you would almost want to say the smaller the first number is for the initial viewing or the initial appointment, the better you will have the experience. And your mum, your maid of honor, should know best what fits you, and it's about you feeling right in a dress as well. So that's brilliant, fantastic. Okie dokie, guys. We're going to move on to the official open Q&A in just a moment, but I've actually got a lovely video Jade is supplied me with, so I'm just going to pop it on the screen. And that gives you guys a little bit of time to organise any questions you might have, anything that finally you would want us to answer for you. And that's just a little bit of an overview of what Crystal Bows do and how their wedding shops work. So I'm just going to pop it up on the screen. Not sure about the audio, but it's a beautiful presentation of what you can expect if you decide to shop with Crystal Bows. Perfect. Fantastic. I love that video. Guys, if you want to check it out, it's actually available on YouTube and also on social media for Crystal Bows as well. I will shortly share with you on the screen all the details for social media as well. We've got more questions, which is great to see. Guys, this is your very final opportunity to ask any questions of Jade. So take that opportunity and pop your questions in the comment box below. We've got a question from Caitlin who's asking, I fall in love with a dress, but it might need a lot of alterations. What should I go for it?
I think it depends on the alterations, but yeah, anything really can be done to a gown. So if it's a bit too big for you and it needs taken in, it'll be completely fine. Just, I think people overlook the seamstress thing, but a seamstress is probably just as important as buying your dress. So just make sure you go to a very, very good seamstress and it should be completely fine. So yeah, buy the dress.
Perfect, fantastic, lovely. And we've got another question from Caitlin. Thank you very much, Caitlin, for sending across all the questions. Great to have you involved. Clearly, you are looking for dresses, which is great to see. We've got a question, should you bring the underwear you'll wear at the wedding to a dress shopping appointment?
I would say the underwear you wear to the shopping appointment doesn't matter. Literally, people walk in with multicolored underwear, bras. It doesn't matter. Obviously, it's recommended to wear something kind of nude, just so it works better with the dresses. But to be fair, anything goes. It's more kind of important at the alteration stage that you've got the kind of underwear that you're going to be wearing on the wedding day.
That's very interesting, because I heard sometimes that it's good to pick your kind of a wedding day underwear and take it to the dress fitting. But you're absolutely right. There's going to be so many fitting opportunities there that is you will have the opportunity of trying things on, having that underwear ready. Oh, actually, Catherine from White House Flower says she's a good one. Perfect. Another testimonial for you. We had so many fantastic feedback pieces up on the screen, guys. If you want to check out a little bit more about Crystal Bowls, I highly recommend for you to check out their Facebook page, because it just beams with positive reviews and testimonials, which is great to see. We've got another question from Doogie. Do you offer swatches of the material so it can be matched with their theme?
Yeah, so depending on the designer, we can either get a swatch of the designer, or if it comes to alterations, we always find that the majority of the gowns need taken up anyway, so you can have a swatch of your actual gown to kind of take along with you.
That's amazing. That's good to know. Good question, Dougie. Thank you very much again for joining us. You've been brilliant as well with all your questions. Lovely, guys. Finally, if there's any other questions before we finish up for today, pop them in the comment box below. I will start wrapping up slowly, but we still are very much live. So if there's any questions for you guys, pop them in the comment box below. Just to wrap things up before I'll let Jade go for today. I wanted to say a little bit about what I do. So the idea of working with a wedding planner is to ensure that you can dramatically reduce the time you spend on your wedding planning. And this is something that you would be interested in pursuing for your special day. You can check out my latest guide, which is completely free of charge. And the link is available currently on the screen, which is bit.ly/Oscar-mistakes-to-avoid. That guide is a 3-step guide to avoid certain mistakes that might cost you a lot of time and potentially budget as well. And if you avoid them at the early stages of wedding planning, you might actually save yourself a lot of headache. And all you need to do is pop your email address in the little box, and the guide will be completely and free for you to use. In relation to wedding planning, I can support you with anything from one-off consultation, whether that's through wedding planning. If you're doing a DIY wedding and you want an expert consultation in your wedding plans, I can support you with that as well. I have supported couples with sourcing individual suppliers in my 1-hour consultations, and I've also supported couples with final details planning as well. One couple actually referred to it as a sanity check final details planning, which makes me laugh, but actually they really enjoyed it, and it just made them as well. In addition to that, I can support you with on-the-day coordination. This is particularly popular for those couples who are potentially considering dry hire venues or venues that might not have a wedding coordinator available on the day of your wedding. So I can get involved in the final stages of your wedding planning, guide you through the final appointments with suppliers and the venue, and be available there on the day for 12 hours from your bridal preparation to your first dance, and ensure everything happens and being your right-hand man. And obviously, I can also support you with full wedding planning. This is particularly popular for those couples who are busy working, busy having families, and needing that little bit support and a little bit more of a personal approach to wedding planning. And I can do absolutely everything from the moment of inquiry through sourcing venue suppliers, entire wedding planning, to on-the-day coordination as well. So that's something that I could help you with as well. If you would like to find out a little bit more about more bespoke approach to my wedding planning, as I offer that as well, you can go ahead and book book my 15-minute free consultation today as well. Just before we finish up for today, I wanted to announce to you guys that I am super excited to be hosting Laz from Aristocracy London, a gents wear, suit wear supplier from London, a luxury brand, who will be joining me on the interviews next Thursday at 6 p.m. That's Thursday, the 10th of September at 6 p.m. Laz will be joining me as well. So if you've got any questions for Laz about suits or menswear for weddings as well, you can fire them across in the comment box below, or send them in a direct message over to me as well, as Laz is super excited to share his experience in this market for you as well. Before we finish up, I just pop up on the screen our contact details for you guys. So if you wanted to check out and book my free 15-minute consultation, my website link is available on the screen right now. And you can also check all the contact details for Jade as well. We've got the telephone number, the website, all the social media handles, and also a personalized email address for Jade herself as well. Jade, before we finish up for today, is there any final advice, any final comments you would like to make for the couples before we finish?
We actually have a bridal sample sale running every Saturday in September. So the majority of gowns are $699 and under. So if you're looking for a gown, I would definitely say get yourself booked in for our sample sale.
Absolutely perfect. Thank you very much for sharing that. It's important, and it's just this 1 month, guys. So if you wanted to book that, make sure you head across to Crystal Bow's website or social media, or fire a wee email over to Jade as well. Actually, I've just noticed that there's maybe a couple of more questions or comments. Dougie says, I get blank looks when I ask the Kaylee question down here. No, not at all. Absolutely brilliant question you've asked there as well. Katie's saying, and thank you very much for joining us. It's been superb to have you and answer your questions as well. And Catherine at White House Flower says, you're the most organised person I know. Thank you very much. So lovely to have you with us as well. And Catherine's actually helping me with one of the weddings for next year, a big wedding at Dundas Castle on the 1st of May, which I'm super excited for. And one of the couples has actually joined us today as well. So perfect. Jade, I wanted to thank you immensely for joining me for this interview. I hope you really enjoyed it. It's been a brilliant engagement. Thank you everyone for joining us today as well. It's been a brilliant 1 hour of our time, but I hope very informative and very engaging for us all as well. There's been a really good level of questions and interaction as well. And if you want to join me for the next session, that will be available next Thursday, the 10th of September at 6 p.m. And we will be talking everything wedding suits and wedding menswear with Laz from Aristocracy London. Again, Jade, thank you very much for your time. It was lovely to host you today. And you guys have a wonderful Thursday evening. And if you've got any more questions, pop them in the comments below and we will answer after we're finished today. All right. Bye, Jade.
Bye.
Bye, guys.